In WWE, not everything planned tends to go well, as it is known that the wrestlers are highly trained and are considered professionals in what they do inside the ring. But, however, inside the ring nothing can go 100% perfect. That's why now I will stop talking, and today I will present 10 WWE moves that ended in the worst way. Number 10. Braun Strowman and his fierce suplex. A royal battle prior to the biggest show of all. It's not usually where fans can expect high impact moves, but that's what happened at WrestleMania 35. It was unintentionally intentional. Luke Harper was trying to eliminate Mustafa Ali from the ring when Braun Strowman gave him a fierce kick which caused both men to be eliminated and practically fly out. However, they crashed into the commentators' tables and Mustafa Ali took a tremendous hit on the edge of the table, taking the worst part of that fall. His opponent, Luke Harper, not only tried to cushion the fall of both, but was instantly available to check on Mustafa Ali as soon as the incident occurred. No! Not all high-impact blows have to be the result of a throw from great heights, or they must include some chair or ladder. During a 6-woman tag team match on Raw, Liv Morgan suffered the very terrifying blow. When Brie Bella accidentally knocked her out with a kick to the face, everyone immediately realized she was knocked out. And Brie Bella obviously was concerned about her fellow wrestler, quickly checked on her and notified the referee about her condition. Brie Bella dragged her to the corner so that Liv Morgan could tag out and thus leave after the action. Liv Morgan was away from the ring for weeks, but fortunately it was nothing serious and she received the necessary medical attention. Number 8. Accept Political Action Committee's anal pain. What you will see next went beyond all the limits of a typical injury. X. Political Action Committee was on the brink of leaving this world due to an extremely simple move, but he did not measure or calculate the way he would fall. This happened at an event held in Minneapolis, Minnesota in the year 2013. X-Pac was on his way to perform his signature move, the Bronco Buster. When he failed, the maneuver landed him very hard on the ropes. At first it seemed like he was selling the move. But what the fans didn't know at that time was that X-Pac had literally busted his ass. To put it in a better way, X-Pac suffered a tear in his rectum, a tear so severe that his anus began to swell. X-Pac. After the fight, he lost so much blood that he could have died if he hadn't gone to the hospital that same night. However, the fans who were there that day can't complain about anything because X-Pac, even injured, finished his fight in the same way. Number 7. Diesel and his great feet. There's no doubt that the Big Show is considered a true legend in the world of wrestling. In fact, he's on his way to being a future Hall of Famer. He gave us great memorable moments, and one of them involved the Big Show almost losing his life in the middle of that company's ring. In a fight against Kevin Nash, Nash tried to perform his jackknife powerbomb on him. But that would be the first time he would apply it to a 7.2 feet tall monster. Kevin Nash lacked enough power to lift him and make him land in a good way. Nash lost control and Big Show ended up falling with all his weight on his head. Back then, Big Show was weighing over 185 kilos, and he was quite lucky that he didn't lose his life that night. Number 6. William Regal does not respond. Sometimes even the most basic movements can go wrong, and when they do, the situation becomes very scary. A similar incident occurred at the pay-per-view No Way Out event in the year 2003, when Kane hit William Regal and he stopped responding. Regal didn't move after the hit, and Kane clearly saw something out of the ordinary. He protected him and tried to make a very gentle 3 count, Then, Kane took William Regal to a corner to make a forced tag and keep William Regal safe. Without a doubt, what Kane did was absolutely the right decision in that situation, just like Brie Bella did number 5. Undertaker in the best fight of his life. The WrestleMania 25 match between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels is often considered one of the best of all time. However, it presented a seriously terrifying moment when Undertaker launched himself out of the ring, even though Undertaker had already performed this move at WrestleMania 23. This time, he didn't necessarily land as expected, as the Heartbreak Kid moved to avoid getting hurt. And, in turn, Undertaker fell on a cameraman, even though the cameraman was a wrestler in training in those years. He had been put in that position by WWE to catch and hold Undertaker in his fall. But this wrestler failed tremendously. This led to Undertaker falling headfirst and as much as that wrestler, and Shawn Michaels rushed to check on the condition of the dead man. This is Rick McGraw without measurement. One of the biggest controversies in the history of wrestling. It becomes such a serious issue that very few people talk about it today due to the delicacy and respect for Rick McGraw's family. On October 22, 1985, Roddy Piper faced Rick McGraw Roddy Piper. That night, he gave one of the most savage beatings known in wrestling. Piper ended up winning the match in an extreme way. But after the match, everything returned to normal, although the fans continued to believe that the beating given by Piper was 100% real. But where is the controversy in all of this? Well, now I'll tell you. The controversy occurred days later, as Rick McGraw lost his life after a heart attack. Many fans believe that this happened to Rick after the tremendous beating from Roddy Piper. The doubt always remained because no one knew if Rick McGraw already had heart problems or if that fight influenced his death. Piper never referred to this topic. Number 3. The exception of Ayabusa. Ayabusa never fought in a WWE ring, but he is considered the true legend of Japanese wrestling. However, he has been backstage at a couple of WWE events, greeting good friends like Sabu, Rob Van Dam, and even Vince McMahon.
March 3rd, 2016.
Ayabusa lost his life at the age of 47, but he could have lost his life more than 20 years ago. If he hadn't left this world back then, if he suffered a terrible paralysis after a failed Mount Suits, Ayabusa tried to perform the maneuver from the middle rope, but he lost his balance and landed on his head. He ended up fracturing 2 of his vertebrae, and the injury left him in a wheelchair for years. In the year 2015, Ayabusa was finally able to stand up with the help of a cane. And months later, he would end up leaving Emun forever. Number 2. Beware of Cena. An exploder suplex is a very dangerous wrestling move and is a big hit for any wrestler. John Cena usually doesn't receive moves like this, but when he faced Shinsuke Nakamura, he received this move. And to his bad luck, he was thrown directly onto his head. Nakamura instantly turned around to see John Cena and approached to make sure he was okay. After the fight, you could see Nakamura still apologizing to John Cena, while Cena also told him not to worry. 1. Beware of the steel cage. The Authority was a real black beast for Roman Reigns, as they did everything possible to prevent Roman from continuing to grow as a wrestler. At one point, it was promoted on the Raw program of September 8th of the year. A 2 out of 3 falls match between Randy Orton and Roman Reigns was promoted in 2014. Orton, who was defending the Authority with his life, realized that he couldn't handle Roman alone. That's when Seth, Rollins, and Kane arrived to try to help him as the steel cage began to descend. It was at that moment that Rollins tried to enter the ring, but he didn't notice a huge detail. The cage was in the process of lowering, and the steel tips almost ended up piercing him from his back. Rollins couldn't believe it. He managed to get out in time and was really traumatized, as his face showed it 100%. Fortunately, nothing happened, but Rollins was left with his soul hanging by a thread. Well, it's not for less. One of those steel tips is about 40 centimeters. What if Rollins hadn't noticed? Surely in this video we would be counting another story.